Hey, this is Chris here, back with the Cube i7 book. Now, I did the thermal mod, and when I did the gaming in my full review, that gaming was actually without the thermal mod. If you have seen the thermal mod video, I basically added a copper plate on top of the existing aluminium one they had. I removed that actually, so I didn't keep it in there. I put a new thermal pad also on the top, so there's heat transferring away from the corium. It's going from that copper also onto the back of the whole housing of the tablet here. And also I have increased the power limits using Intel XTU. So what I did is just set the power limits to like 20. So hopefully won't run into any power limiting, which is similar to that of thermal throttling. So you can see temperatures right here at 61 degrees at the moment. The frame rate is currently at 60. Now when I tested this game out in my review, I got in this particular area with all the water effects, I got 30 frames per second, so already you're getting about double the frames per second in an older game. It won't be the same in new games, and I will test out some other games also in this video. So I'm just going to use the touchscreen here just to show that yes, I am using the actual tablet. You can see how it goes all crazy there because you can't control it properly with touch. But I do have a mouse connected up to the Type-C port with a Type-C hub that I'm using. So let's have a very quick look here at how the frame rate is now. And it's getting up to even sometimes a 67 there, which isn't bad at all. So this result is really good, a very nice bump. So what it basically does is because of the lower temperatures, it allows the GPU to clock up a lot higher than usual, and it will run normally around about 800 megahertz instead of around, I think it is around 400 or 450, so you're basically doubling the GPU speed.
Got the key right here. There we go. Hurry, lad, get up the path.
This is a lot more playable at frame rates, getting up to about 80 there. It's not exactly a demanding game, this one. So the next game I'm going to test is a lot more demanding. This is Battlefield 4. Because I'm getting close to around 39 frames per second, which isn't too bad there. I'll show you the settings I'm using in Battlefield 4 here. So I do have it set on low. And I think that is, yeah, you don't think you can get any lower than that really. And the resolution there of 1280 by 720. So looking around, it seems fluid enough. It's going to go drive right into some action here. Hopefully no one's going to kill me straight away. And I did die straight away. That didn't take long. I'll try my luck in the helicopter now. Hopefully I can last a little bit longer. If this guy can pilot okay. He just jumped out of the plane. Alright, but you can see there that the frames aren't actually too bad. I would consider this to be playable if it's keeping above 30 frames per second there. And that's what we want ideally. And playing this on a fanless tablet is quite impressive. And here's a look at Counter-Strike. Show you the settings I'm going to use. The same as before in my review video. So it's in 720p and on the lower settings. So 1280 by 720p. Everything's on low there. And the frames per second seems to be slightly faster. I think about a 15 or 20 frames per second advantage over the stock. Okay, and I can't kill anyone, but the frame rate, yeah, definitely. Oh, 1 kill at least. Definitely seems to be a bit faster there. You see the frames per second, and the temperatures at the moment are low because I had the system powered off for a little while. So the last game I wanted to test out here is CIV5, and that is running with the touch mode enabled. So the settings I'm using, it's running actually in the native screen resolution, so it's in 1080p. And I'll quickly show you that I do have everything set on the, it won't show me, but so everything's on the lower settings here to keep the frame rate right up. Now, of course, I've only just started out, but once you get huge cities on this, that really starts to take a toll on the CPU, so no doubt the frame rate will really suffer. At the moment, it's running at 90 frames per second, but I imagine once you get a lot of CPU use on a huge city, that's going to probably halve. So already the frame rate has actually dropped down to about 48 at the moment, but still scrolling around the map here seems to be reasonably fluid. And zooming in does, of course, help a little bit with the frame rate there. But I see this one as being playable. Now these here are the settings I went with in Intel's Extreme Tuning utility. Now I would not recommend touching this at all. If you haven't done the thermal mod, then you risk damaging it. You increase those power limits and you could probably just literally cook it, damage the hardware, and your whole tablet will no doubt just power off, trigger the thermal junction max of 100 degrees. So maximum temperatures, just from this little bit of gaming that I have been doing here, it did get up to 76, so it's getting quite hot. But keep in mind that I do have the tablet sitting face down on a table, and that really is not the best for the thermals because that heat's being trapped under there as well. But the stock arrangement got up to 97 degrees. If you've seen the full review, it's just far too hot. Now, what I did also was the power boost short max enable. I've disabled that, and the reason is I found out that if you disable that, you won't run into any power limiting. And I increased the turbo boost max power to 15 watts. In the start I said 20, but 20 or 15, whatever you put there, it's never going to actually consume that much power. But what it does is allow it to really just hold those higher clocks. If you look along here, I do have the clock speeds there for the graphics. Okay, graphics held the clock rate the whole time. It did at one point peak up to 850, its max clocks, but it sits there at 800, well, 798 megahertz the whole time gaming there. And that is really good, because before what was happening was that clock would just literally clock in half. It would be only running at about 400 megahertz or 450, I think it was, with the stock arrangement. So you're basically getting a very cheap performance boost that is doubling the clock speeds on the GPU here, and the results do literally speak for themselves. If I quickly show you the benchmark result, this is for my review. So that's the kind of score you can get. A graphics score here on iStorm 1.2 of almost 65,000 with this mod, and stock you would only get about I think it was about 39,000 or something like that. And that score is very close to a Microsoft Surface Pro 4, which is really good. The physics score isn't, of course, but you can get a slight boost as well from the physics, but most of the gain is from the GPU. So the gain you get out of gaming from this literally $10 mod is really good, and a real nice boost there. So those are the results. Good luck with your own mod if you have done it, and remember, do not touch the power limits if you have not done the copper heatsink mod. If you have not put thermal pads there, then you risk actually destroying your tablet. So bear that in mind. Don't do that at all if you haven't done the mod. Thank you for watching. Hopefully see you back soon in the channel.